So for this exercise, we're going to need a resistance band, something that we can hold between the arms. We're going to need a yoga block or something to place between the knees. So it could also be a Pilates ball, a rolled towel, or a pillow. And it's optional to have a little yoga block or a pillow underneath the head for support. This is particularly helpful if you find your ribs tend to flare out when you lay on the floor. So to get started, we're going to lay back and we're going to place the yoga block in between our legs. We're going to walk our feet out so they're slightly further away from the bum. This is going to give us a little bit more hamstring activation when we lift up into our bridge, particularly when we lift our toes up off the ground and keep the heels digging into the ground. And if you just try that here, you should feel the hamstrings or the back of the thighs activate. Now let's just check the tension on our band before we do the exercise. So we want to feel enough tension that when we pull the band apart, or if we pull the band overhead with one arm going up and the other going down, that we feel the muscles activate, but we don't have to arch our back in order to achieve that motion. Now to do this exercise, we're going to pair one of those upper body motions while simultaneously trying to lift the hips up towards the ceiling. So to do this, we're going to start by setting our core brace. So we're going to draw pelvic floor in and pull up until we feel the lower abdominal wall start to activate, and you should also feel your back pressing into the floor. And we're going to hold this core brace throughout the duration of the exercise. The next thing we're going to do is take a deep breath in. And on a breath out, we're going to lift hips up towards the ceiling while pulling the band apart, and then breathing in to lower. Breathe out to lift, breathe in to lower. And again, you can also play around with different arm movements here to activate different muscles between the shoulder blades. Right, so choose whatever one feels particularly good for you on that day. Now, if you find it too difficult to coordinate the breathing, meaning it's too hard to think about exhaling as you lift up and inhaling to lower, at the end of the day, just make sure you're breathing throughout the exercise. If you find you have to hold your breath, you're losing proper form doing the exercise, or you notice any coning or doming through the abdomen, this would be a sign that it's time to take a break.